song. It's called Thy Will. I just turned the radio on and this song happened to be on, and I'll tell you all about it in just a second, but I had to make sure that you guys could hear it. So yesterday was a really hard day for me, man. I was just feeling down in the slumps. I felt like everything I tried to build in my life didn't matter, and I felt wildly insecure. Like I just could not go low enough, man. I just felt inferior, and I just felt like my kindness was being taken for granted, and I don't know, maybe you guys feel like that sometimes too, but I just felt wildly insecure. Okay, it was a bad day for me, but I did not quit. You know, I got out of bed and I kept making the moves that I knew I had to make. But something changed for me this morning. I woke up at 6:30 and I looked at my phone, and on YouTube there was one of the sermons that popped up on my feed, and it said God confidence. And I thought, you know what? I knew what that meant. I gotta watch this, you know. You guys can say it's the algorithm, but sometimes I'm sure in your own life, things pop up just the right time. And I believe that's God, putting videos in people's path that can help them. But anyways, as it was 6:30 in the morning, I started watching this, and the pastor was talking about how when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was incredibly weak. He had sorrows unto death. And he went and prayed to the Lord and said, God, if it can be possible to take this cup from me, yet not my will, let your will be done. And God sent his angels to go and strengthen Jesus Christ in that moment, after Jesus had said, let your will be done. And so in the sermon, the guy was making the point that a lot of times in life, we're all asking God to give us confidence to do what we need to do in this life. And most of the time, we're asking God to give us confidence to do our own will. And that's kind of like asking God, hey, God, give me a lot of confidence so I can go touch this hot stove. And God, he can't strengthen you to do those type of things. But when you ask God to help you understand what his will is for your life, he'll increase your strength and confidence. And so in that moment, when I was laying in bed listening to the sermon at 6:30 in the morning, I thought, this sounds like exactly like where I am. I'm always asking God to strengthen me just so I can go do my own will. And I need to get in alignment with what God's will is for my life. And I had a lot of peace after watching this sermon. I don't know about a lot of you guys. Maybe you guys can relate a little bit to those days where, man, you just feel like a sack of dirt, and you just don't have any confidence, and it's just so insecure. The insecurity is just crazy, And so I woke up feeling really good. I got out of bed. Well, actually, I normally go on my morning runs. Well, instead this time I went and I just went right back to bed. I felt so good. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go run. I'm not going to go do anything today right now. I'm just going to go back to bed. And as I went back to bed, I had this dream of being back in school in a gymnasium with a bunch of other kids. And I was just edifying everyone around me. Guys would come around me and talk to me, and I would just encourage them, and we just had this cool bond, and I kept lifting them up and just trying to lift them up higher and higher and talk goodness into their lives. And I was surrounded by community, man. These guys were like my brothers. It felt like it was just such a short dream, but it felt like I'd known them forever, and they were my brothers, and I felt secure in the moment. And I learned that throughout my whole life. I remembered that I always edified people. I always tried to make the people around me better and try to speak good things into their life and help them along their own journey in any way that I could. And that was my dream that I had. And I woke up and we were playing some soccer game or something, but it was just such an awesome dream. And I wanted to share that with you guys today because if you go throughout my channel, there's just some videos that God just takes and puts in front of, thousands of people, which I think is awesome. And there's nothing I can do to promote my channel. There's nothing I can do to get a lot of views or a lot of souls to see what I'm putting out there. So really, it's really just God putting things in the algorithm for people that need to see things at the right time in a moment of their life where they probably need it. And I know that's happened for me a lot, and that happened to me this morning. But yeah, I feel really good today, and man, it was an awesome morning. I went for a run, and I added some weight onto my back, and I went for this run. I've never done this before. And surprisingly, even with more weight, I just ran with vigor and strength, and I had even so much strength that I was uplifting everyone in this place where I was. And not like verbally, but even with like a nice genuine smile and like a have a good day type mentality. I feel like a lot of people can look a little unfriendly in the morning. We haven't all woken up yet. I get that, but anyways, I want to share that with you guys because I know there's some brothers and sisters out there that you have those days where you feel wildly insecure and everything that you try to build is not filling you up. And I just wanted to share this with you guys that if you align yourself in God's will, He will give you the strength to do what you need to do in this life. And after my run, I hopped into my truck and I put on the radio, and immediately there's a song called Thy Will. And this girl singing, she goes, "Thy will be done, thy will be done." And literally, like, as I was just running and talking out loud and praying, saying, "God, what's your will for me today?" Thy will be done, thy will be done, she was singing. And that's the song I showed you in the beginning of this clip. So I want to strengthen you guys today. If you ask God today, what is your will for my life today? Not what is Thomas's will. What is your will for my life today? You will be increased with confidence and security and a foundation that does not fail. And I'm getting emotional and I'm holding back tears. I'm so grateful. I'm gonna keep trying to be obedient, man. I'm such a slow learner. God will just spank me over and over and over, and then I go back and I try to touch the hot stove. And I guess I'm no different. You look at the scriptures, how many times the Israelites they just forget about the miracles that God did for them. Next year, every chapter they forgot about the Lord, And so it's something I'm working on. But I wanted to share that because I think this could be useful to a lot of my brothers and sisters out there that align yourself with God's will today and find out what that will is, that perfect will. I have yet to understand what God's will is for my life. He told me today to make a sacrifice today, and that's a financial sacrifice for me. He said, I want you to have a sacrifice. There's some things that I want to go buy that I'm going to sacrifice instead, and I'm going to give them to God. And the other thing, to align myself in God's will. Sorry, my lips are really dry from my run, but he said he wants me to finish this book I started, which I do not understand why I have to finish this book. I'm not a writer, and I don't know anybody who's ever written a book. And whatever the case may be, I'm going to keep jotting away at this book. I'm going to keep writing it out. And whatever purpose it has, maybe it's going to get picked up. Maybe something's going to happen with this book. But it just keeps popping in my head over and over and over and over. Even this morning, I said, God, what's your will for my life? The book. I'm like, it can't be this silly book. Come on. And he's like, it's the book. So I'm going to keep writing this book and see where it goes. Let God take it. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys know, sometimes God just takes something and you never understand why. And it's His purpose and it's His will. With that being said, hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Have a great Wednesday. I hope you guys can align yourself with God's will in your own life. And pray for me. Keep me in your prayers. And thank you guys again for all the comments, all the likes, all the subscriptions. You're all welcome here. This is just a channel about Jesus Christ with a little bit of side tangents, with a little bit of day game for the single Christian brother. And I just got all kinds of things here. This is my channel, so I'm gonna use it to glorify God. I'm gonna do my best to use it to glorify God and just let him take my voice. And if it can help one person out there, that's all that really matters. So take care.